Oh, ladies, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. I stand before you today. No, I sit before you today. I'm revealing this glorious, ugly mug for the first time. I made the investment, bought a little webcam. Hope you're excited about that. But the main point of this video today, obviously, if you like the webcam, let me know. And we'll keep it going for the future videos. But don't mind the shabbiness behind me. Just forget about it. We're going to be talking about the earnings reports to watch for the week of April 19th. It's what we love talking about every single week. Earnings season's kicking off hot. Last week, it makes you feel self-conscious about the facial expressions when I look back at this, so I'm going to make sure I don't look back at it, so it better just be right the first time. But last week, a lot of financials reporting, and we saw a lot of really good numbers from these companies. Reporting fantastic numbers, showing significant recovery and a significant decrease in cash burn, which is what you're really expecting out of these companies that are coming up against a quarter in which they saw some shutdown and lockdown from last year, where they're going to see some more beneficial. This first quarter here for a lot of these companies, likely you won't see necessarily the biggest impact because you'll only see maybe a few weeks to a month out of their quarter actually compares to the lockdown 100%. So keep that into consideration when you look at some of these. We're going to talk about, starting off before open Monday, Coca-Cola, one I specifically will talk about because of that comparison. You're going to expect some really good comps here this year for Coca-Cola, and it's not necessarily because the business is doing better than it's ever done. It's going to be going up against a year in which their restaurant side of the business, which is a big portion of it, was completely shut down. They weren't making any money off of that. So there's a lot going on here with Coca-Cola. So this quarter specifically, I'm not expecting anything crazy. Again, one of the major trackers here for Coca-Cola will be new products. For sure, they've released several new products. We got Coca-Cola Coffee, Coca-Cola Energy. There's a lot of new things that this company's done, as well as organic growth. People are very focused on organic growth out of this company, so we'll see what they're able to post up. But at the end of the day, it's going to rely on really those restaurants, that restaurant revenue boosting back up for them to bring the stock where it needs to be. We have Prologis, M&T Bank, still some financials yet to report with Bank of Marin as well, and Old National Bank. After close, we have IBM. IBM, always a good company, one I recently added last year. Pretty excited about them, what they're able to do. A very consistent company. I mean, there's nothing crazy to think about with IBM. They're not doing anything super crazy. They did make some investments over the last year, expanding their business a little bit. So always one thing to look forward to. So always nice. We have United, Steel Dynamics, Crown, Zions Bancorp. That's right, banks. They're going to be all over this first couple weeks. Just be cognizant of that. As long as you know what's going on. Hexcel. Wintrust Financials, Service First Bank, and FNB Corporation. Again, banks all over the place. So these smaller regional banks, not sure what to think of them. I assume they're not quite on the caliber of the big tier. They're not the big boys. They're not the JP Morgans. They're not them. The Goldman Eat My Sacks. They're not those. But we'll see what they're able to do here. Tuesday before open, Johnson & Johnson is actually most recently most relevant because of there's a lot of controversy with Johnson & Johnson right now. So they've completely pulled the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine for fear of potential non-effectiveness, as well as side effects that have been caused by this, from blood clotting to, oh my goodness. So the Johnson & Johnson not looking good as far as the vaccine front is, and that's going to be a major forefront of what this stock's going to report on. As a whole, their products are going to be doing well, but you need to consider Johnson & Johnson here. They went up against a year in which they saw massive comp growth because of the products they sell for skincare to just in general health and wellness. They're going to have an incredibly tough year to keep those comps up. I just don't think it's feasible that they keep a positive comp this year based off the demand for their products last year. There's no chance, even with COVID vaccine or not, and now they don't have it. They just don't have anything to necessarily keep them, flowing in that manner. So just keep that in mind with them. Procter and Gamble, they're in a similar boat, but obviously dissimilar at the same time, but mostly just because of the incredible demand. So Procter and Gamble products, these were ones that were in incredible demand last year, from paper to detergents, sanitizers, to home care, with skincare and every product under the sun. Procter and Gamble makes it. They sold an incredible amount last year. Is it possible for them to keep that momentum going? I don't know. We'll see. But I just don't see it possible. We've seen incredible retail sales so far this year, so take that into consideration. We've got Abbott, pharmaceutical company, always a quality one. Lockheed Martin, Lockheed Martin, consistency. Curious what to expect from them, but we'll look at it. Harley Davidson, it's always on there, but I don't, necessarily track motorcycle sales, nor if they're increasing, decreasing, whatever it might look like. In general, people are spending a lot more money. Harley Davidson probably benefits because it's not a primary vehicle for a lot of people. People buy a motorcycle, as a secondary thing. It's a fun thing to ride around in, so keep that in mind. Philip Morris, again, big tobacco is failing, going down significant rates, obviously with the invention, I suppose, or the popularity increase of e-cigarettes and products such as that. So Philip Morris a little bit left behind, but they're trying to innovate, obviously, to be relevant. Travelers Insurance, not sure what to think about them. Comerica and KeyBank, always good. Netflix, that's right. After close, we're expecting Netflix. Really good numbers out of here. I'll just tell you that right now. We're talking about a time in which streaming over the last year has increased by incredible degrees. And it's going to continue to, obviously, with the quarter they're reporting here. I'm going to expect some really good numbers out of Netflix. Netflix is still king of streaming. I do think there will come a time in which they get overpassed. But frankly, this is the most beneficial thing that could happen to them. Was 2020. It was the best thing that could happen to them because they had some failing shows. Obviously, they still are failing to, in my opinion, bring some really quality originals to the table consistently. But they have such a wide catalog. That's how they stay king. A lot of the shows we used to know and love back in the day, they own them. So obviously, something to look at. Intuitive Surgical, a company that's been hit really hard over the last year because a lot of hospitals weren't purchasing any new equipment from them because they were busy devoting half to 90% of their building to coronavirus patients. So they weren't able to make these investments. So we'll see what this year looks like as more elective surgeries become possible. What they look like this quarter, don't expect anything crazy. Silvergate, CSX, Tenet, Interactive Brokers, the first of our brokerages. The first of the brokerages here with Interactive Brokers. We'll see what it looks like. Obviously, one of the first to do zero commission trading. Don't mind me, I'm just looking off in the sunset, heroic like. So we'll see what those they put up there. Obviously, a lot of people getting into the market. Valuation is incredibly high, which means people are buying like crazy, right? So keep it in mind. Assets under management likely looking pretty good for them. Edwards, 4-Star, and United Community Banks. Wednesday before open with Verizon. Telecom, it's a pretty consistent industry regardless of what happened. We have the rollout of 5G. See what that looks like for them. ASML, Ericsson, NextEra Energy, not one I'm too familiar with, but a lot of people interested in this one. Halliburton, Anthem, with NASDAQ. First Horizon, that's right, Banks, NextEra Energy Partners, and Baker Hughes. After close, we have Lam Research, Chipotle. Now, there's a beneficial aspect here for some of these fast food companies as they're coming against a year in which they saw negative comps when they're able to reopen the buildings, plus continue their drive-through presence and the digital presence they were able to build up last year, it's going to be looking good for some of these fast food companies. So keep that in mind. Crown Castle, Kinder Morgan, gotta love them. Whirlpool, appliance sales. I think that they're up. I can't lie to you. I do think appliance sales are up. People are buying everything lately. As someone who works in retail, I can assure you, people are buying everything. It's home improvement city still, so companies like Home Depot and Lowe's still going to be doing super well this year for sure. Spirit Airlines, Las Vegas Sands, Discover Financial, so still back into the credit companies based off of Citi's report. We're looking pretty good here probably for Discover. Sleep Number, again, in the talk of people buying luxury items, Sleep Number probably sees some benefit from that. People are buying so much stuff. Sally Mae, Sally Mander. I knew a girl named Sally Mander. Trust me, it was real. It's not a joke. Don't make fun of her. Thursday before open, we have Cliffs. AT&T, obviously with the huge rollout of HBO Max, we're going to be looking at that subscriber count. That's where people are going to focus on AT&T right now. Obviously, they have a dying business in DirecTV, and the telecom business is just steady. So we'll see what HBO Max is able to put up to the table. American Airlines, based off of Delta's results, we saw some really good expectations in terms of decreased cash burn. So we'll see what American Airlines is doing if they're able to do something similar there. We have Freeport, McMoran, Copper and Gold, baby. D.R. Horton, Nucor, Southwest. Again, same thing with American Airlines. We'll see what if they're able to. I would assume they'll do similar numbers, but again, people aren't necessarily traveling 100% quite yet. We have Dow, Tractor Supply Company, and Blackstone Group. Okay. After close, we have Snap. Based off of what we've seen, and obviously we have the big ones reporting next week in terms of your big social medias groups. Then Snap's up there, obviously, but even the bigger ones. Ad rates have gone, they've gone incredibly high. I mean, we're talking about above pre-pandemic levels. Ad rates are at an incredible status there, and people are using these apps more than ever because they've had a lot more free time. Because they can sit on their butt and collect unemployment. Don't you wish I was doing that? Sorry, I have to work for a living because I'm, an honest American. Okay? But yeah, expect good numbers out of Snap. Probably putting up some good stuff. Intel reporting after hours as well. We've got reports that PC sales have been at record levels in this first quarter, record levels. So again, that benefits Intel, being that their processors are in a lot of these devices. So keep that in mind. Probably selling some good stuff there. Samuel Adams, Bev, gotta cop the Bev. The question is, people drinking more than ever? I don't know. It's hard to say. I do think people are drinking more than usual, and we have the increase of social outings coming up. So Samuel Adams, we'll see what they're able to do. Mattel, Celanese, Seagate, obviously known mostly for computer hardware from hard drives and such. Good stuff out of them. Skechers, Cal, Amp, and Clearfield. And then Friday we've got Schlumberger. I really feel that one. I mean, I felt the spit come out on that one. I hope you did as well. There's probably a droplet on the camera. Yep, there it is. American Express. Good stuff out of them, most likely, just based off what other companies have been doing so far in the financial spectrum. Honeywell, very diverse company, but mostly known for lights and such, home care goods. Autoliv, Kimberly-Clark, do like Kimberly-Clark as well. She's a nice lady. Regions Bank, AZZ, Gentex, First Hawaiian Bank. Yeah, that's the first bank in Hawaii. Do you think that's possible? I don't think so, but that's what they're calling themselves. So obviously a quick Google search might help that. So Southside, look, bank, the first bank opened in Hawaii. Look, you got to do these things. Founded in 1858, it's Hawaii's oldest and largest freaking financial institution. Look, you just got to look at these things. And I was telling you that it might not have been. That's my fault. I was lying to you. Sorry. That's all I have for you today. And I hope you enjoyed this lovely face. Don't worry. I've only been awake since like 11 p.m. last night. It's been rough. Been a rough night working overnight, but we have a good time. So enjoy your day.